Welcome back to my channel, Famous and Fabulous. Johnny Depp, who was 61, spoke out at Cannes 2023, rejecting unfavorable reports and validating the public's long-held beliefs misgivings regarding his tumultuous experience. From Jack Sparrow, a Hollywood legend, to the Amber Heard's epicenter scandal, this quirky celebrity has managed more suffering than he should have. Depp Noas decided to adopt a new lifestyle, stepping out of the spotlight and launching an unexpected new chapter. His audacious choice is expected to provide insight on the circumstances surrounding his disappearance and a spectacular comeback, keeping followers interested. Despite everything, Depp's choice to depart Hollywood exhibits a profound disenchantment with the sector itself that once made him a household name, but subsequently sent him into a never-ending examination. After being dismissed from the major initiatives, he came to see that the core of entertainment in America was no longer a spot for him. Johnny in 2023 Depp formally departed Los Angeles, bringing an end to his life is the focal point of the movie sector. He relocated to Somerset, a peaceful England's countryside, where he currently resides on a property that is more than 800,000 square meters. Depp didn't disclose his retirement. He didn't throw a send-off party. Journey. He just disappeared from all significant media organization. A year later, the action. No picture of him has appeared at any occasion where he illuminated the red carpet once. In a local newspaper interview, Depp gave a succinct, illuminating statement. "I no longer live for attention. I'm alive, to be calm." The quote went viral very fast throughout social media. It was a statement made by a man who had purposefully moved away from the empire that previously positioned him at the highest point of fame. However, that tranquilly did not imply disappearing from the public eye. On the other hand, Johnny Depp started transforming his presence through quite various platforms. His artwork, primarily surrealist paintings or portraits, fetched more than $5 million at auctions in several months. Limited edition prints, typically costing up to $50,000 a piece, sold out before to being made available to the public. His creations appeared in the 2024 edition of a bunch of New York's Stuff Show, drawing hundreds of visitors from loyal supporters to experienced collectors. At the display, Depp revealed, "Painting is how I express what I am unable to words," demonstrating that art has evolved into a shelter for his suppressed feelings. Additionally, music has become essential in Depp's new life. As a participant in Alice and Hollywood Vampires, he performed with Cooper and Joe Perry at numerous locations around Europe, including the open-air rock festival at Wacken in Germany, in Troyes, as well as multiple French stages. These displays Depp's guitar playing and supplied the backup vocals that were received favorable reactions from viewers, demonstrating that he is still a captivating live entertainer. Music such as David Bowie's Heroes, protected by the band Depp's own signature, a creator who's always considered himself an outcast in the realm of entertainment. "I'd like to be able to swim. Even if he doesn't perform in movies anymore, he continues to be among the most prosperous ambassadors for major brands." Depp. Johnny is currently among the most commercially influential people in spite of his absence from the display. The fragrance of Dior Sager line with Depp as the world saw its face break sales figures for 2024. Every promotional videos made use of footage from the past. Depp didn't have to show up in fresh advertisements. His name by alone kept the brand's momentum. Dior not only extended his deal, but increased his visibility at Paris fashion shows, where he was embraced as a symbol of culture. A single media. The executive stated it plainly. Depp doesn't require Hollywood to cease to exist, and that is precisely the reason why Hollywood fearful. However, he no longer participates in films. He continues to be among the most successful international brand representatives. Johnny Depp is currently among the most strong symbols for branding, even after moving away from the display. From the perspective of the movie business, he has become impenetrable. All questions from Warner Brothers, Marvel, and major studios. According to reports, Netflix has been rejected. Seasoned filmmakers such as Tim Burton and Terry Gilliam is enthusiastic about cooperate, but have not gotten any answer. A former close friend disclosed, He no longer desires to be determined by any role. He was once an symbol. He now decides to just be Depp, now manages his own life on his own phrase. Every month he gets a few invitations to projects, but seldom responds. In 2024, he declined invitations from the 3 main motion pictures Berlin, Cannes, Venice and festivals. Even consequently, his name continued to appear on Variety's list of the most significant personalities in the worldwide entertainment sector. Music. Without putting out a new movie, without Johnny Depp made a single appearance, is still a name that is used every day. Nobody does not know if Depp will return, but if he does, there won't be any silence. Return. Because of the composition behind that, from the outside, there are still injuries that never really shut down. The trial in which was believed to have ended in 2022, yet it persists to reverberate, persisting in Johnny Depp's recall. Additionally, in magazine pages, he has stopped reading the injuries of the previous. Amber Heard submitted a filing in May 2016 for separation from Johnny Depp at the age of 15 months after getting married. Meanwhile, she openly charged him with physical and emotional mistreatment, publishing a picture of her facial bruises as proof. The narrative became a worldwide media outlet immediately, feeling. Depp didn't answer. Instantly, and in a matter of days, the public he was portrayed as guilty in the tale. By default. Global media sources all agreed that Depp was an abuser. Human rights groups denounced him. When online forums started waves of boycotts, in 3 weeks, Disney declared that it was going to discontinue their cooperation. The part that Jack Sparrow plays, Depp's most recognizable character, was eliminated from the franchise's plans for the future. Later, Warner Brothers had him resign from his position as Grindelwald Gellert in the Fantastic the Beasts series. A series of advertisements campaigns were later cancelled. Depp experienced yet another significant blow when an article appeared in The Sun calling him a wife-beater. He lost the lawsuit against the paper in the UK 2020 case, thus harming his reputation. The tabloids persisted in write unfavourable articles about him as an alcoholic or washed-up celebrity, frequently based on unsubstantiated assertions. While this Depp left the public eye for a while, avoid lengthy interviews and looks. People close to him disclosed that he was terribly deceived by the same sector that once praised him, particularly as studios sever their connections without attempting to confirm the facts. Depp's career has all but collapsed. Bottom. But at the beginning of 2020, a leaked audio recording significantly changed the public discourse. During the recording, Heard acknowledged striking Depp and made fun of his response. "I gave you a slap." "What the heck?" she said. "You're not a baby." The sound caused a great deal of backlash and many people start to doubt Heard's account of happenings. Posts on social media circulate, using the hashtag quickly, was justice for millions of dollars were earned by Johnny Depp. Shares. Depp's longtime admirers, for parts such as Jack Sparrow, started to think he might have been untrue accused. This change in public opinion signaled the beginning of a new chapter 1, where individuals began to see that the truth might not be what the media initially represented. Early in 2022, Depp submitted a lawsuit alleging defamation against Heard in Virginia, referring to the opinion piece she authored for The Washington Post, where she referred to herself as a public personality, signifying abuse in the home. However, the Depp wasn't specifically mentioned in the story, but he claimed that it had obviously harmed his picture and seriously damaged both his individual standing and professional life. Additionally, Depp said he had never mistreated her physically and that he had been the one in reality, mistreated on an emotional level during their connection. The trial was 6 weeks long and was shown live throughout the United States and abroad. Each side offered a torrent of proof, private communications, delicate pictures and recordings. Additional, around 100 hours of testimony, 30 hundreds of papers and witnesses were delivered to the court. Observers, including past employees and acquaintances, according to the couple's testimony, Heard demonstrated aggression and control. Actions. One that is very startling. The specifics of the accusation. Heard had urinated on Depp's bed in a gesture that retaliation, a charge she refuted, the dog of the pair instead. At these times, despite their dramatic nature, they illuminated the disorder that characterized their partnership. During one meeting, Depp described being hit by a glass bottle that was hurled. Consequently, his finger's tip was cut off. His personal doctor attested to because the bone was so badly damaged was made public. A bodyguard explained, seeing Depp's confusion with bleeding through the dressings on his hand, unable to communicate because of severe loss of blood. The jury's 2022 verdict was in Depp's favor, directing Heard to pay significant losses, while also needing Depp will spend less money on disparaging remarks made by his lawyer. The decision not only cleared Depp's name, but additionally indicated a notable triumph in the court of public sentiment. Later, the Heard moved to Spain, removing herself from the spotlight. In the meanwhile, Depp was given enormous support from the public, with millions of admirers expressing happiness and relief on social media. But the court ruling did not nullify the psychological wounds Depp had sustained. Those who know him well say that he seldom spoke to anyone for 2 months after the trial's conclusion. In a confidential letter that Leon received, "I didn't do this for revenge," he wrote. "To survive, I did it." No longer regarded as, he has turned into the emblem of a fallen star, of a damaged guy who took a step back up, even if it meant standing by himself. However, there is something hidden underneath that serene exterior that has changed his life forever. Trust in the system. Regarding Johnny Depp, there was no release from the trial. It was a lasting scar. A French veteran filmmaker who had a post-trial meeting with Depp remembered, "He was at ease, polite, yet his eyes lacked depth, as had the rest of him been abandoned both within his Somerset courtroom, and Depp maintains all of the legal documents at home." From the trial, imprisoned in a special space. Recordings of audio, written correspondence, text messages, medical records. Each component is carefully preserved. Not because he hasn't released, but because he refuses to let him forget. Additionally, from within, something else has happened in those isolated chambers, started to take shape, an undriven course by retaliation, but one that doesn't room for comfort as well. A fresh phase of the life of Johnny Depp is developing subtly, not in order to defend the past, but to be born again in a manner that no one could have anticipated. A quiet resurrection. Johnny Depp's comeback started in 2023. During the Cannes Film Festival, Jean Dubarry and he played King in a French movie. They screened Louis XV. The part was his first significant appearance since the Amber Heard trial, which was successful. A standing ovation that lasted 7 minutes. The audience at Cannes, including both long-time and reviewers' supporters, embraced Depp as a representation of tenacity in the face of difficulty. It wasn't merely a professional event. Landmark. It demonstrated that Depp remained popular, particularly in Europe, where he discovered the assistance that he was once rejected by Hollywood. The movie later got conflicting feedback from critics. However, one thing was consistently recognized. The performance of Johnny Depp maintained its captivating quality and emotional depth, presence, as well as controlling the screen intensity. Director Mewin said, refused to cast Johnny due of I placed him in the scandal since no one else may represent Louis XV in the manner that he does. Depp made a formal comeback in 2025 to Hollywood with the movie Day Drinker Penelope, Cruz co-starred, and the director by Webb, Mark. The position referred to as arically nuanced personality with an eerie inner world signaled his return to commercial film following years of absence. Webb referred to Depp's role as a wanderer in his own life and said, "A movie star wasn't necessary for me. I required an injury that might manifest, and Johnny is the only one that is sufficiently genuine." The next Day Drinker, here's another offer. Terry Gilliam's Period, one of most European films' quirky filmmakers, for Satan's part in Carnival at the End of the World. According to Gilliam, Depp was his sole option as he recognizes the underlying causes of darkness. However, retains an odd serenity inside. The project is still being developed, and Depp hasn't formally acknowledged their role, but just the announcement caused enthusiasm for European art, the world. These deals from well-known directors imply that the sector is starting the process of welcoming Depp once more, despite having previously stated that he would never go back to Hollywood. Johnny Depp's wholesome way of living has become an essential component of his own rebirth. He has shed pounds since 2023, taken more attention to his appearance, and allowed breaking archaic traditions that once dominated the media. It would be a wild card. A nearby source validated that Depp has been fully adjusted his diet, stayed sober since late 2022, and works out lightly in the morning. He has not gone to treatment, nor did he employ an expert. Everything happened, discreetly and according to his own terms. A physician in Somerset, who conducts regular examinations, observed that his heart health is steady, levels of liver enzymes have improved, and no indications of relapse are seen. Somerset locals, where Depp currently resides, according to reports, he frequently takes morning strolls, peacefully, or while reading in his garden, taking part in minor community initiatives akin to making a donation to the nearby library. These minor details reveal a distinct Depp one, no more enmeshed in the mayhem from the tabloids and parties. His physical change has arrived, with a shift in psychology. No, Depp longer becomes angry or reacts forcefully in response to media pressure. When a reporter in France brought her just replied when he was heard that the chapter is over, let's stay put, backward. According to some, he's just pretending to be an ordinary in order to restore his reputation, Johnny Depp. Those closest to him, however, don't agree. As in the words of filmmaker Mark Webb, Depp is no longer acting. He is without the drive to act like himself. The most concise description of Depp's internal, the art he now creates, is transformational, produces. The artwork in a collection of things no longer adhere to the commercial. He once experimented with pop art. They're quieter, more void-filled, and darker. A private gallery in Germany acquired the whole 12-piece surrealist show, He 2024 painting, characterizing them as the creations of a man who has experienced hell. His music has also become gentler, less cluttered. In a private recorded live and released, he performs on raw acoustic guitar without amplifier, uncooked, with fragmentary singing lines that were whispered. Sometimes it's just about more than a whisper. I don't possess. He had nothing more to sing loudly about, stated at a soundcheck for the band. Quietness is currently his main language. There are no audacious claims, no necessity for justifications, no wish to declarations. Depp decides to make an appearance similar to a subterranean current, now without attempting to attract attention. He has declined post-trial requests and memoir deals offers for interviews. Publishers have suggested advancements in seventh figure. He has not replied. In a confidential letter to Terry Gilliam, Depp, the director, once wrote, "I no longer have any idea of who I was, and when nothing remained, it started over with the smallest item too could keep myself together. Nobody makes a call. He is no longer a superstar." The European. Nowadays, the media calls him a man crossing between two different realities. One of Hollywood that praised him before discarding him. One is a private artistic area where he's re-establishing himself and not attempting to go back to either side. Once familiar audiences with death, very popular roles have arrived at. Observe how he has evolved into a different version of himself. His resurrection isn't just a tale of going back to the screen, but evidence of his aptitude to persevere and overcome hardship. His new positions, art shows, and appearances alongside Hollywood vampires all carry the mark of a deeper, more liberated depth, no longer constrained by Hollywood's anticipations. His wholesome way of living, emphasis on art, and the cordial response from audiences across Europe confirm that he has found a fresh sense of direction. Depp's rebirth trip from Cannes 2023 and 2025, his projects stand as a silent but impactful proclamation. He did not just make it through the most difficult times. Through them, he gained strength. Once, fans worried that he might not come back now see a creator come to life in his enthusiasm. However, this change, the weight is carried in quiet of an extremely tragic tale. A star returning to the light after walking through the shadow. Nobody is certain how long. This will be a long-term path. However, one thing is evident. It doesn't return to its original location, started. Because in the end, the truth is slowly coming to light. A quiet confirmation powerful enough to seal the section on a long misunderstood age. The tale of Johnny Depp is hardly one of triumph. Resurrection of a fallen star. It's the survival of a man who suffered from an unnamed storm, then emerged from it in a completely distinct shape. Someone who no longer fears or longs to be understood, getting misinterpreted. If you think this narrative is worthy of being remembered, share the article, leave a comment and subscribe. The channel, since occasionally the way it spreads is through a compelling voice.